Okay, this is Orlando Wilson. What I want to talk about in this video is virtual kidnapping. And this is something which has boomed over the last decade or so as people have become more dependent on smartphones, cell phones, etc. The first case I heard of a virtual kidnapping happened in, I believe, Argentina, where a group of teenagers went into a cinema where they had to turn their phones off. And some of their friends, if you want to call them that, wanted to try to extort money from their parents, play a prank on them, and also extort money from these kids' parents. So they phoned up the kids' parents and said they kidnapped them. And the parents, of course, phoned up their daughters that were in the cinema, but the daughters couldn't answer the phone because the phones were off. In the meantime, these wannabe virtual kidnappers had already told the parents they wanted how much they wanted, and they wanted the money transferred onto phone credits or something small. It was kids playing games. But that was the first case I'd heard of what's now called virtual kidnapping. Since then, the business has got pretty intricate, where you have gangs that specialize in nothing but virtual kidnapping. Within Latin America, a lot of the virtual kidnapping gangs are based out in the prisons. They've traced back how many of these virtual kidnappers to prisons within Latin America where prisoners do nothing else but go through their phones. They get the phone numbers from virtual phone books, and just sporadically go through the numbers, phone people up and say to them, we kidnap your wife, we kidnap your daughter, we kidnap your son, just to try and get somebody to bite. And they're playing on people's fears. I had one client come through that said he was at home one day and his mother got the call that he'd been kidnapped. And he was sat on the sofa watching TV, and she's like, well, he sat in front of me, so how could you kidnap my son? But if these criminals make 100 calls, make 200 calls, out of those 200 calls, somebody will take the bait that their loved one has been kidnapped. Once they take the bait, then the kidnappers usually ask for ransom to be paid in cell phone credits or something small, something this person can do very, very quickly. For the criminals asking for, in a lot of countries, you can transfer credits onto phones or do money transfers onto phone numbers very, very quickly and easily. The kidnappers for the virtual kidnappings, a lot of the times, don't ask for high amounts of money. They want a few $1,000s maximum that can be transferred quickly. The reason for phone credits with the criminals in prison, if they have money credits put onto a cell phone that they have within the prison, again, they can use those phone credits to make more calls, or they can sell those phone minutes to other prisoners, etc., etc. So it's business. Now, moving on, there's been more intricate virtual kidnappings. And I've heard it out of several countries now, where the victim will check into a hotel, etc., etc. And a lot of times they get the call. I know one case that was this told to me, where somebody checked into a hotel in a high-risk area. He got a call in his hotel room. The people that were calling him, the virtual kidnappers, knew all his details, etc. I take it they got it from the hotel staff. They had his cell phone number. They had everything. And this person was instructed to go to an ATM, to do this, to do that. He's told he was being watched, being followed. Withdraw how much money from an ATM, take it to a certain place, leave the money in a specific place, and then the kidnappers would get back to him. And this gentleman done it, etc. And he was told if he attempted to leave the city, he'd be killed, etc., etc. And the next day he had to do it again and do it again and do it again. They were playing on, they had this guy scared. He was in a high-risk area, high-risk city. And again, they played on his fears. And they took that guy. That guy virtually kidnapped himself because he was too afraid to report what was happening. So he was stuck in a hotel, terrified, going to the ATM every day, withdrawing money and dropping it somewhere. I think in the US there's been issues where, I think it was traced back to Triad, Chinese mafia, where there's been very, very intricate virtual kidnappings where people have been taken for a lot of money. And again, this isn't, to me, virtual kidnapping is a scam. But again, how these, I think the triads went through, they hooked some kids via computer games, etc., etc. And they got to know these kids via their online activity through computer games. They were gamers, and from there the extortion started. And again, they play on people's fears. We're watching you, we're following you, we know where you are, we know what you're doing, etc. If you don't pay us this money, then this will happen to your family. We know where your family is in China. We'll kill your mother, we'll kill your father unless you pay us X amount of money, etc., etc. So this is where the virtual kidnapping is, it's a real crime, but to me, it's a scam. It's basic extortion. It's virtual extortion. And again, if something like this happens with all kidnappings, first thing with the kidnapping, confirm it is a real kidnapping, it's not a scam. With virtual kidnappings, if you get a call out of nowhere, again, things have to be checked. You have to know where the person is, etc., etc. Confirm what's going on, and confirm the person, this criminal, the person that's trying to extort money from you, is not just found one of your friends, relatives' phones and has opened the phone and started to go through the phone numbers and trying to extort money or try and get some money out of somebody. Generally, with the virtual kidnapping, as with any kidnapping, proof of life, where's the person, we want to talk to the person, etc., etc. And if people start asking for smaller amounts of money very, very quickly, the chances are it is a scam. But generally, I tell people, if you get blind calls from somebody that's threatening you, that's saying they've kidnapped a loved one, relative, business partner, etc., I'd be very, very skeptical and very, very cautious until you've confirmed what's actually going on. And if you can't reach out to the person that they claim has been kidnapped, I'd wait a little while and see if they pop back up online, try other means to contact people, etc. And this is where, if somebody is going to a high-risk area where virtual kidnappings do happen, ensure you've got multiple ways to contact that person. Because again, as I said, with the issue with the guy in the hotel, and I've got other videos up about hotels giving out people's personal information. If they're going to a high-risk area, make sure there's multiple ways to contact them, because again, the hotel staff or the people they're going to do business with, even potential business partners, could be selling their information to virtual kidnappers or criminals to extort them. So, in the meantime, I have a book up on Amazon that talks specifically about kidnap and ransom. We run kidnap and ransom courses, prevention courses. So check out, I have an array of articles up as well on my blog about various aspects to do with kidnap and ransom. So if this is something which could affect you, check out the content we got and feel free to reach out to us and talk to us about training, consultancy, etc. In the meantime, follow me along on social media. I've got a lot more of these videos up, a lot more stories of various things, various people having various issues from various places. So we have an array of videos up on our social media, and we're up on the main platforms. I prefer LinkedIn these days, but we're up on the main platforms. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. In the meantime, follow us along, be good, stay safe, and try to stay out of trouble. Remember, the first thing to do with any kidnapping is confirm the situation. Don't believe anything until it's confirmed beyond any reasonable doubt that there is an issue. Because a lot of supposed kidnappings, well, what are initially believed to be kidnappings, turn out to be scams or misunderstandings. Be good, stay safe, stay out of trouble.